Have you ever noticed how the office jerk keeps getting promoted? You know who I'm talking about. The person who takes credit for your work, who steps on others to get ahead, who doesn't seem to care about being nice. Meanwhile, you're trying to do things the right way, but you feel stuck. We see this pattern everywhere, in business, politics, and even on social media. The mean people rise while good people struggle. But why does this happen? Today, we're going to explore a tough question about power with help from Friedrich Nietzsche, a famous philosopher from the 1800s. What he discovered might surprise you, and it might even help you understand the world better. Throughout history, we've seen many examples of bad people achieving great success. But here's something interesting. Many of these same people eventually fall from power, destroyed by the same traits that initially helped them succeed. So what's really going on here? Do you need to be mean to be successful? Or are we missing something important about how power works? Nietzsche helps us see power in a different way than most philosophers. He stripped away our comfortable beliefs to show how power really works. Many people think Nietzsche was just celebrating cruelty, but that's not true. He was trying to understand the full range of human potential. To understand why bad people often succeed, we first need to understand where our ideas about good and bad come from. Two types of morality. Nietzsche's most important idea here is what he called master morality and slave morality. In his book Beyond Good and Evil, Nietzsche says these two different moral systems shape how we judge power and success. Master morality came from powerful people in ancient societies. It values strength, achievement, pride, and the will to power. In this view, good means strong and capable, while bad simply means weak or ineffective. Not evil, just not good enough. Slave morality developed among people who were oppressed. It flips master values upside down, making virtues out of humility, obedience, and patience. It turns power into something sinful, something to be condemned. Here, powerful people aren't just bad, they're evil. These two moral systems are still fighting in our society today. When we feel upset about someone's ruthless success, we're often judging them through slave morality, seeing their use of power as morally wrong. But are we missing something important when we do this? Why ruthless people have advantages. People who succeed through ruthlessness have specific mental traits that give them real advantages. First, they don't hesitate as much. While most of us pause before doing something that might hurt others, thinking about whether it's right or wrong, ruthless people act quickly when they see an opportunity. Second, they don't feel too much empathy. This doesn't mean they're always complete psychopaths, but they can turn their empathy on and off. They understand others' emotions enough to manipulate them, but aren't slowed down by caring too much. Third, they're very clear about what they want. Most people have mixed feelings, wanting success, but also wanting people to like them, wanting power, but also wanting to feel innocent. Ruthless people have simpler goals, which makes it easier for them to take direct action. But these advantages come with big problems. Ruthless people often fail to build real friendships and alliances. Their relationships are based only on usefulness and fall apart when circumstances change. They create resentment that eventually turns into opposition. And perhaps most importantly, they often mistake controlling others for true power, settling for domination rather than becoming their best selves. Society's fairy tales. We grow up believing in what psychologists call the just world fallacy, the comforting idea that good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. Our parents teach us that cheaters never win, that honesty is the best policy, that being good leads to success. These aren't exactly lies, but they are simplifications that help keep society running smoothly. The problem comes when we enter the real adult world and discover that these rules aren't consistently followed. The ruthless person who sees this disconnect gains an immediate advantage. They see power dynamics that others pretend don't exist. They exploit the blind spots our society maintains to keep things comfortable. Our collective pretending about fairness creates the perfect conditions for immoral people to succeed. By insisting that power must always be virtuous, we fail to develop a real understanding of power that could guide stronger, more ethical behavior. Nietzsche's solution. Nietzsche doesn't leave us in this dark place. His concept of the Übermensch, which means Superman or Overman, offers a path beyond this problem. The Übermensch represents human potential that goes beyond both naive moral obedience and crude ruthlessness. This ideal isn't about controlling others, but about mastering yourself. It's not about exploitation, but creation. The truly powerful person, according to Nietzsche, isn't the one who controls others, but the one who creates new values, who turns struggle into meaning, who says yes to life's challenges instead of a resentful no. This doesn't mean throwing away all morality. Nietzsche wasn't saying anything goes. Instead, he wanted us to develop a more sophisticated understanding of power that acknowledges its reality while directing it toward higher goals than just dominating others. So how can we navigate a world where power dynamics are real without becoming the very people we dislike? Nietzsche points toward several strategies. First, develop what I call strategic empathy. Understand others' motivations and desires deeply, but don't let this understanding paralyze you with guilt. Read people accurately without being controlled by what they think of you. Second, focus on creating value rather than exploiting others. Creating value gives you sustainable power. Exploitation only provides temporary advantage. Real mastery comes from adding something new to the world, not just taking from what already exists. Third, be honest with yourself. Ruthless people often succeed because they're clear about what they want, while others remain conflicted. Be equally clear about what you want, but align it with deeper values than just getting more stuff or controlling others. Finally, recognize that restraint itself can be a form of power, perhaps the highest form. The person who could dominate but chooses not to shows mastery over their own impulses, not just over external circumstances. Power itself isn't evil. This might be Nietzsche's most important insight. Power is simply the ability to make change, to bring your will into reality. It's neutral, like gravity, a force that simply exists regardless of our moral judgments about it. Bad people don't succeed because they're evil. They succeed because they understand power while pretending to play by rules that don't actually exist in reality. Their advantage isn't ruthlessness itself, but clarity about how power works. The alternative isn't powerlessness or moral compromise, but power directed towards self-improvement rather than domination. As Nietzsche says, the spirit now wills his own will, and he who had been lost to the world now conquers his own world. Maybe the truly powerful person isn't the office jerk who gets promoted, but the person who creates something so valuable that promotions become less important than their larger purpose. Not the politician who manipulates fears for votes, but the leader who helps people see new possibilities. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to our channel for more videos that explore deep ideas in simple ways. Share your thoughts in the comments below, especially if you disagree. The best ideas come from real conversation, not from everyone agreeing with each other. Remember, understanding power doesn't make you a bad person. What makes someone corrupt is pretending power doesn't exist while secretly grabbing for it anyway. True integrity comes from seeing clearly and choosing wisely, not from ignoring reality. Until next time, Keep questioning, keep creating, and remember that the power to change yourself might be the greatest power of all.